All right, let's talk some LSU recruiting as the Tigers win 26-29 in an absolute thriller. One of the best games in the last 100 years, which ironically came on the 100-year anniversary of Tiger Stadium. So, Tiger fans, before we get going, do me a favor right now. Hit subscribe to the On3 Recruit channel, the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube. So jump on board and hit subscribe. All right, let's bring in the great Shea. Dixon. Shea, what was it like in Tiger Stadium from a recruit's perspective? It was the 100-year anniversary, electric atmosphere. What do you think recruits walked out of there with?
Smiles on their faces. I saw a lot of them after the game. Once the field had cleared, the students had rushed the field after the game, and the recruits were out there too. We saw top 100 edge rusher Damian Shanklin, the number one player in Indiana, on the field videoing himself rushing with all the crowd and the players. So this was one that I think a lot of LSU fans will remember for a long time, Josh, because LSU just seemed to be on the ropes all night long. And between the comeback at the end and some Tiger Stadium magic sprinkled in, it was a pretty unforgettable night. And this was the first year LSU's had the LED lights and all of that. And this was the first night game we got to see it on display. So it was memorable. I think that 4 quarters of football wasn't going to do it justice. So we had to play a little bit more.
Yeah, you're right. There was some magic in the stadium last night. And imagine if you were at that first game and then the last game, the 100-year anniversary game against Ole Miss with the LED lights. I mean, you would think you're on Mars or something. It was phenomenal atmosphere. I wish I was a recruit that was invited to that game and could have been there. I'm jealous that you were at the game. Here I am at the Colts-Titans game, and I can't even go in. We're just going to talk recruiting with you. All right, let's talk some more recruiting. Jacob Bradford, he got the fireworks started early. He commits to LSU on Saturday morning. Couldn't even wait till after the game. He got it done. Now, Jacob Bradford, huge pickup at safety in the 2025 class. But his brother, Blaine Bradford, is the number 1 ranked safety in the 2026 class. Shortly after the game, On3 Steve Wiltfong puts in an expert pick for Blaine Bradford to go to LSU. Shea, do you agree with the pick? Are you close to putting in your own pick? And what are you hearing on Blaine Bradford?
I do. I like the pick. I ran into Blaine on the sidelines yesterday, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "So you heard about my brother, huh?" So he was pretty excited for him. Look, these are Catholic high guys. They grow up and play high school football 2 miles from campus. So they're kind of inundated with LSU their whole lives. We knew that both would go out and take visits. And Jacob committed to Houston, where Willie Fritz, after being at Tulane for a number of years, took that job at Houston, landed a bunch of Louisiana guys. But when Jacob Bradford got the LSU offer, Josh, I think that about sealed it for him and backed off that commitment, immediately committed to LSU. And now I feel like, unless they have any more additions, that LSU safeties class might be wrapped up with him. Another 4-star in Jace Thomas out of Destrehan, and then a 4-star right there up by you, Josh, in Nashville, and CJ Jim Coyley at Lipscomb.
So what do you make of safety and Quan Fagan, who's committed to Auburn, being on campus now? He's been to Georgia. He's been to Florida State. Now he's at LSU. And Quan Fagan's, if he does want in this LSU class, is there room for him?
100%. They would take in Quan Fagan's, and they have kept him on the kind of radar even after his commitment to Auburn. He's visited multiple times now since that commitment. And as you know, visiting other schools as well. So it seems like he's being pretty deliberate with his process in terms of, yes, I'm committed, but I want to go make sure I see everything. And he's got a really good relationship with whether it's LSU's on-field staff, the off-field staff like Jordan Arcemont and others. They've put in a lot of time and work on the Fagan's family. So am I predicting him to go to LSU, Josh? Not right this second, but as the year rolls on, 2 months to signing day, anything can happen. So he does remain on the very short list of guys that I think could get themselves into this class.
Okay. Now we got to talk about another foot target. Wide receiver Caleb Cunningham. He's committed to Alabama, and he too has been taking visits. He showed up at a couple places this weekend, though. He was at LSU. Was this official? Was this unofficial? And what are you hearing on 5-star wide receiver Caleb Cunningham coming out of his trip to the Bayou?
Yeah, this is an unofficial visit, so we'll see if they don't get him back for an official visit. Cortez Hankton, the receivers coach, has been working on Caleb Cunningham long before he even committed to Alabama. I think you also look at the reality that this is a Mississippi kid. They're tough to pull out of that state. Bama's already done it, so you'd have to pull him away from Bama. And the third thing is, you noted, he's taken a lot of trips, and it's almost like a Jakeem Stewart thing. You look at the trips he makes, and I would tag along. He's pretty good at picking really good games to go see and with great finishes. So I think we have to let the dust settle here and see if it's just a trip down to just kind of check things out, and Ole Miss was playing in that game, or if there's some actual real interest on Cunningham's end in LSU, because they do want one more receiver in this class. We just don't know who they'll turn to get, to make that happen.
Yeah. Well, this could have just been a for fun visit, but if he does make it back for an official visit, then we could maybe look at this game as the turning point where Caleb Cunningham was like, hey, I need to take a closer look at LSU.
Yeah, maybe. And I think that's the case right now, that they're hoping for a lot of these 2026 guys. There were a lot of underclassmen there yesterday, Josh.
Who were some of the most important in that class?
Oh, obviously, Jakeem Stewart is coming for the Bama game. He was at Oregon last night. He reclassified. So the new number one in 2026 in Louisiana is Lamar Brown. And we just mentioned Blaine Bradford. He's a top 10 player nationally. He's the number 2 player in Louisiana. But Lamar Brown was there. He was hanging out on the sidelines. Saw him rushing the field afterwards. And that's one of your, no doubt, biggest headliners. But they had guys in from East Texas. They had guys in from South Mississippi, Tristan Keys and others who are 4-star wide receivers and highly rated guys. So I think this really gave them a nice leg up with the kids who were in attendance as juniors to see, hey, look, this is when we talk about Tiger Stadium, this is the atmosphere that everybody's referencing. And look, I've covered every home game for longer than I'll care to admit, and that was up there as a top 5 crowd game. I think without it, LSU probably would not have won that game had that been in Oxford.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you said it best. There was magic in the air on Saturday night. LSU fans, you felt it. Talk to Shea and I. How are we feeling after the game? How are you feeling about recruiting? Let us know. Comment section below.